The Michael Jackson biopic. There's some drama going down, and I wanted to talk to you guys about it. Okay. Really, there's no actual official drama going down because there has been no update or release of any information from either the production company or the estate. But there was a little something that went down where Paris Jackson shared her thoughts and her opinions about the biopic and her involvement. And to be honest with you, I wanted to talk about it because it was something that definitely impacted the way that I felt about the biopic. And I decided to incorporate some of you guys' thoughts by having you submit voicemails. Now, this is something that I asked for on the YouTube community tab page. So if you don't subscribe, then definitely subscribe because I'm going to be doing this more often. I wish I could do this live, but live video takes a lot to coordinate. Maybe we'll do it. Comment down below if you'd be interested to do a live call-in show. But today we're going to talk about Paris's opinions, which, by the way, this is a disclaimer. I have no I have nothing against Michael's children or family at all. I'm always been a huge Jackson family fan. Um, you know, growing up listening to the Jacksons and even listening to Janet and Latoya and Rebbie songs and the brothers and Michael, and I've been a fan of the music. So I don't really have an opinion here or there about Michael or his kids. I actually don't ever do videos on them because I'm a Michael Jackson fan. I'm a Jackson family music fan. I have met all three of them at different points. Prince has always been really super sweet and kind to me. Paris has been nice to me. BG has been nice to me. We've only met in brief interactions a couple of times. So this is not really a video that has anything to do really with um, commenting on their involvement or this or that because I really don't know the ins and outs. I'm not behind the scenes. None of us are behind the scenes, but I do want to take the time out to talk about the fan reactions to this because I think it threw some of us for a loop, right? We were under the impression, I think a lot of us were under the impression that like Michael's family and his kids were all on board with the biopic. And especially because, Michael is being played largely for most of the biopic by his cousin, his nephew, Jermaine's son, Jafar Jackson, who I think is going to do an outstanding job. And I haven't heard anything bad about. I mean, I've only heard great things about his performance from people who have seen. But let's listen to the voicemails. Basically, Paris did say that. So Coleman Domingo, who plays Joseph Jackson, said that he had a lot of support from Paris and Prince, and this is a nice way for them to get together because they were both at like a film event in Venice. So I don't know what prompted him to say that. I think he was asked about it, and so he gave a diplomatic response. Paris did say, "Hey, why, that's weird. Why are you mentioning me?" And I didn't have any involvement in this at all. I gave notes and no one talked, no one addressed my notes or they said they're not going to address them. So I haven't been involved with the biopic since the first draft. Okay. That's a summary of what she said. And for me, I personally was kind of like, there was two things that threw me off. One, the fact that she said that this she said, "You guys are gonna love the film, so don't get me wrong," which I was like, "Okay, that's cool." Then she says, "But this biopic is gonna pander to a certain sector of my father's fans." And I'm like, "Okay." And she continues, "That live in the fantasy." And I'm like, "Okay, is that me?" Like who is that speaking to? Because I mean, I think a lot of us want a biopic because we want to learn more about Michael Jackson. I've said this a million times. And it's funny because somebody commented, and I'm not going to forget this person who commented because I thought this was so rude and so uncalled for. She's like, "Do you're supposed to call yourself a Michael Jackson historian and, you're supposed to already know everything about him. So what do you want in a movie? You want them to make stuff up?" I've never met Michael Jackson. I've only seen him once in concert very, very far away. And I didn't work with him on any of these albums. I wasn't behind the scenes shooting videos with him. So like, yeah, I would love to know more behind the scenes information. Like I think all of us do when you feel a certain attachment or connection to an artist, you want to learn more about them as a person. I think that's the journey that all of us have been on, you know? Being Michael Jackson fans makes you want to know more about the person that really makes you feel like he was singing to you at some point. And I think all of us have felt that. Doesn't have to be from Michael, it could be from for a different artist or whatever. Um, but yeah, like we're all curious to know more about the behind the scenes stories of moments that impacted our lives. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Um, but I do wonder what she meant about the fantasy. And I'm like, I don't know. So that kind of threw me for a loop. I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. So let's listen to some of your voicemails. Okay. Here is the first one. Here we go.
I'm going to try so hard to keep this brief. But if you ask me, the state hasn't cared about Michael's fans in years. They post low quality videos, fake images and impersonators of Michael. Their graphic designs are terrible, and they keep giving us cute excuses as to why they don't do like really good documentaries anymore. Thriller 40 was fine, but it was nowhere near as good as Bad 25. I think Paris just doesn't fully support the estate for reasons such as that, and she has every right to speak up if she doesn't fully support the biopic. That's his daughter, and for them to dismiss her notes about inaccuracies is understandably frustrating. But like she said, it's Hollywood, and they have to make a movie that will appeal to people outside of the fan base as well. I'm just nervous that they're going to gloss over the darker parts of Michael's life that are essential to understanding him. I've heard that Joseph is going to be, quote, humanized, which is not a good sign to me. Michael's family has been dismissing his trauma and watering Joe's abuse down to discipline for years, and it doesn't sit quite right with me. Anyway, it's possible that the biopic will still be good, even if there are some embellishments and creative liberties. I enjoyed Bohemian Rhapsody despite the timeline being wrong, but I'm also not a huge Queen fan, so that wouldn't have bothered me anyway. At the end of the day, I don't think any movie can truly capture the complexity of Michael's life and career. Maybe a docu-series will come close.
All right. So I agree with a lot of that sentiment. I also enjoyed Bohemian Rhapsody, but I'm not a Queen fan. And I watched it a bunch of times because I was just like, this movie's so cool. The music's so good. The story's so good. I love the way it flowed. I love the guy that portrayed him. I thought he did a great job, even though I don't really know Freddie Mercury or the details of his personality or whatever. But I was like, oh, this is great as a very casual listener, which a lot of people will be when they go and watch this movie. Another thing is, yeah, like I think Paris is his daughter. She has the right to feel how she feels. And I can't come close to understanding those feelings. But at the same time, yeah, you know, for the longest time, I've supported all the estate projects. Like I've been like all for it. But I do understand the thoughts too that a lot of people have that like the estate hasn't really done a lot to like nurture the 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 important fan base, like not the important fan base, but like the longtime fan base, or like the new fan base that cares to go deeper. Like it's all like, oh, the MJ1 show, or like let's put this video in 4K and not even announce it. Let's do these generic T-shirts. Like the musical MJ1, like those are all big accomplishments, and that's so cool because the general public gets to know and understand and love Michael Jackson when they may have forgotten about him or something like that. But then like what about the rest of society? Like that wants to go deeper and learn more about Michael? The biopic is a chance to do that. So that kind of stinks that we're going to just be giving a fantasy thing. Um, so yeah, let's listen to the next voicemail. Thank you so much. Shout out to you. You didn't leave a name, but shout out to you. Thank you. You were actually one of the first voicemails. So thank you.
Kimberly Wright. I go by the name Art Supernova on Instagram and Facebook. My take on everything is I really feel like her doing this, and especially now, will overshadow the hard work that her cousin put in and that everybody that showed up to do this job has put in. You got to remember, Coleman Domingo did not write the script. He didn't produce the script. He's just, showing up to work. like anybody else would that works on a project.
Sorry, I have to pause your voicemail because I totally agree with that. I was kind of like, wait, but Coleman is just like he was casted to do this. He went on an audition and he got the role. Like, I don't think he was meaning to mislead anybody. I mean, I think he was just giving a diplomatic answer to a question because they were both at the same location. I mean, what is he going to say? Oh, she had no involvement at all, and then have to answer to more questions? Or maybe perhaps he honestly didn't know. Like, he was playing Joe Jackson. Like, I don't know. Was it required for him to have met Michael's kids and like had a long in-depth talk with them? A lot of times people play people and they've met them for one or two conversations and that's it. So let's keep listening.
And for her to come across that way, I feel is, quite unfortunate. We all know in Hollywood that they give what we call creative licenses and, liberties when it comes to doing movies. If you look up, your favorite cartoon, your favorite Disney cartoons, the original story, would make anybody, lose their, it's almost like it'll ruin your childhood. Let's just say that. So they got to sanitize it and switch it up and whatever. My thing is with this movie, they're going to take liberties because they got to keep the audience engaged. And you got people who will not be fans that'll be watching. So we all know that. But I feel that however long of an interaction that she had with Coleman Domingo or with the cast, to him, he felt like she was helpful. So for her to come across the way she did towards him, I think it came across petty and mean girlish to me. And I feel like there's something deeper, like maybe she felt that she should have had more of a creative input or so in this movie. And it didn't happen that way, and maybe she feels a certain way about that.
Sorry, you guys. I had to answer my phone. I had a phone call that came in. And the lighting is not so great. So let me know if I need to fix this for future videos. All right, let's get into the next call.
Hi, MJFANGIRL. This is Trevor Thomason. Here are my thoughts on the Paris Jackson thing. I saw it on Facebook earlier today, and I'm just thinking, it's Michael. This is going to be a controversial movie any way you slice it. But I think no matter what, it's still going to be an awesome movie. I mean, it's going to be an awesome flick. I mean, we all know what happened with the whole Queen debacle, with the Queen biopic, with the Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm just thinking, this is going to be an awesome movie. It's great to be alive in 2025. And we have Jafar Jackson playing Michael. I think it's just going to be amazing. So, yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. It's going to be awesome. Okay. Bye.
Thank you, Trevor. I actually I agree with you. Like even though like I will not lie, when all this drama first went down last week, I kind of was like a little disenchanted and I was like I'm not excited anymore. But then like you're right, like this is going to be really cool to see Michael and on the big screen, like Michael's story rather on the big screen. Jafar Jackson, how he does, like everybody that I've heard that have been on the set that was a part of Michael's life at some point, like I know Vincent Patterson and Saida Garrett, Travis Payne, like a lot of those people have gone to the set and have seen the filming, and I know some other people too that I not sure if I should name, but like they've been on the set and they're like, oh my gosh, like Jafar knocked out of the park, like it was so eerie, like he was really like Michael. So I'm looking forward to seeing this regardless of what's going on behind the scenes. Like every family's gonna have people that agree or disagree. Like my family, we're no Jacksons, and my sister will tell you the story one way and I'll tell you it another. But we were both there at the same time, same place. So everybody's perspective is gonna be a little bit different. But yeah, thank you, Trevor.
Hey, this is Gerard from Oklahoma City. All I'm going to say is the comment, not my monkey, not my show. Girl, come on now. Bye bye.
I know. It's like those kind of comments are kind of like, ugh. I also saw they posted on the Shade Room. I was like, oh man. Oh man. I mean, I for what it's worth, I don't think she meant it in a derogatory way or anything, but it just kind of comes off like, what? Come again. Thank you for the note.
Hi, MJFANGIRL. This is Bubbles Love Michael. Well, I did read what Paris had to say about the biopic, and now I'm just on the fence of. So my thoughts right now is, I don't know. You know, how can I say it? Just rescheduling the film and stuff just doesn't sit right, especially after what Paris had to say. So. I'm not too excited right now, but I'm just hoping for the best, especially this is, you know, about Michael. But at the same time, I really don't want it to be a fantasy. So that's all I had to say.
Yeah, you know what? The fact that she said it's gonna pander to the fantasy section, I'm like, well, wait, if I like it, does that mean I'm a part of the fantasy? Like, I only know what I know. Like, I don't know what I don't know. You know what I mean? That's why I try to like learn and do interviews and talk with people and read books. Not that there are that many out there, but I only know what I know. So I hope that I'm not going to be enjoying a fantasy project. Like everyone has their own story or narrative that they want to push, right? Like for me, this is my channel. I only post about Michael Jackson. Sometimes, very briefly, I'll mention something family or friend related, but most of the time not. And sometimes I get comments that are like, "Oh, this is disgusting. You're so overly obsessed with Michael Jackson." Because maybe the person watching thinks like, "Wow, she only ever listens or does Michael Jackson related things all day every day," which is so far from the truth, like so far from it. But the story that I tell on my channel is that I'm a Michael Jackson fan and I'm not a family vlogger. I'm not a like lifestyle vlogger. Like I'm a Michael Jackson fan, historian, and that's the general theme of the channel. So like for Michael Jackson, Michael's not here anymore. So the estate, I think, has certain themes that they want to stick to. Obviously the music and, the legacy, the humanitarian aspect. I don't know. Are they going to go into Michael Jackson, the businessman? That's something that I've always said I wanted to hear more about. Are they going to go more into the creative, like the boss, because he was in charge of a lot of this, a lot of his stuff, being in charge of costuming and stuff and what that looked like on his tours and telling the dancers, no, do it this way, not that way. And the band, no, I want you to play it like that. Are they going to play into that? Because I would love to hear more about that. Um, but yeah, like they have to have a certain narrative. Also, like that Peter Pan thing. Are they going to make Michael seem like he was just Peter Pan, very like, oh, not really dig into some of the real human sides of him? I hope not. Maybe that's what she's talking about. But again, we don't know until we watch it. Thank you, Bubbles.
Yeah, this is J5 Lover. I honestly think I halfway agree with what Paris Jackson said, and I halfway disagree. I agree mostly on the fact that Hollywood is generally sensationalized. So, I mean, most biographies and true life stories that you see I mean, it didn't exactly happen the way that you see it in the movie. I mean, there is some sensationalism to keep the audience on their toes and to keep people excited and cheering for the lead character, or the lead person. But and I don't think that we're going to ever know every little thing that ever happened to Michael Jackson. I think some stuff is going to stay in the family and between his close associates and friends. So some stories will never be told. But I disagree on the fact that, she was only alive for 11 years of his life. So she only knows so much about her dad. I mean, of course, she knows the day to day and being his daughter and certain things that he chose to tell his kids and that the family might have told her. But I don't think that she even knows everything about his life. So, I mean, there's things that she will never know. Um, and there's definitely things the fans will never know. So I think all we can really hope for is a good story and maybe just more things being told about Michael's life than was previously told in other films, movies, books, and biographies. Because, I mean, of course, I liked The Jacksons and American Dream. I thought it was a great movie. But there were definitely some inaccuracies and some parts of Michael's life that was left out that looks as though it will actually be portrayed in this movie. So I am excited for that.
Awesome. Shout out to you and thank you, J5 Lover. You guys go and follow her channel. She talks all about the Jackson 5. I'm pretty sure she's going to have a vlog coming up soon. She was just in Gary at the Jacksons celebration that they had, so that's exciting. I I can see what she's talking about because I have seen that sentiment online too. Like because Paris and all his children really knew him at a certain part of his life, but not prior. Everything would be right hearsay or stories from their dad. My dad is not Michael Jackson. If I was to have to do a biopic or a story on him, like there were certain things that I would want to be told, and certain things that I'll be like, nah, I think we could leave that out. And certain things I would be like, I think I need to ask my uncle. I think I need to ask my cousins, my older cousins that knew him in that era, or I think I need to pull friends in that were around during that time because I wasn't. And good thing is though, is like I said earlier, they have pulled in choreographers, people who collaborated with Michael. I hope other family members as well. Obviously Jafar, who again like was around for certain parts of Michael's life. I mean, I think these are all good things that there is family involvement, even though it may not be every single person on board. Um, and I do also agree with J5 Lover. Like, it will be really exciting to hear some stories that they didn't address in American Dream, which for me, it's like the Holy Grail movie. Like, I love American Dream. Like, it's literally like my favorite miniseries of all time. And it's why I became a Michael Jackson hardcore fan. Like, why I became a real Michael Jackson fan is watching American Dream. Like, no lie. And I know that's going to do, this biopic is going to do that for other people that may be a casual fan. It's going to take them to the next level and they're going to leave and they're going to say, oh my gosh, why didn't I know this about Michael Jackson? There has to be certain themes in the movie that's why they have that narrative, or as Paris might have said, the sugar coated, because they have to, everything has to align it to a certain, it has to add up to a certain end game or end number. So yeah, they're not going to be able to portray everything in this movie because Michael Jackson was human. And those are the intricacies and different facets of human beings that you're never going to be able to show. So I agree with J5 Lover. Um, and yeah, Hollywood is going to be sensationalized. I think it's actually going to be interesting, like to go to the movies, watch it, and then like see all the things that were fake and were real. Like we should do a video like that. Comment down below if you think I should do a video like that. I might need to get another fan that's like deep into the facts that could teach me something too, to help me with this, because I think that'll be fun to like what was real, what was fake, like looking up the timeline stuff. But the first 2 or 3 times, because I probably will go see this multiple times in theater, the first couple times I go see this, I'm gonna be just all about taking it all in, taking in the details. Like I'm gonna enjoy it. I think I will. I think the majority of us will. Hey, Paris said we will. So, all right, we got a couple more voicemails to go. Thank you to everybody who submitted some so far. Comment down below and like this video if you're enjoying hearing the fans sound off. Here we go.
So I've been a Michael Jackson fan since I was like 4 years old. I'm 21. I'm very excited about the biopic. At first, also a little apprehensive because I feel like there's so much that is already known about Michael's life that there is a worry that it's just going to become a retelling of everything that is already known. And that's kind of scary because I do feel like it is a story that deserves to be heard and seen, especially with high production value, true creativity, and not just being seen as a cash grab. In terms of like Paris's reaction, I think it's, I feel like we can't really judge her because that is her father. We are just strangers at the end of the day who happen to like his music. And I don't know, like I'd probably react some way if somebody made a movie about someone I know closely.
True. Like at the end of the day, we're all strangers. None of us spent any significant, well, I and a lot of us that are watching have not spent any significant time with Michael Jackson. I haven't spent any time with him besides him being in my headphones, unlike me watching him and being on posters and stuff and my t-shirts. That's the extent of it. There now are going to be people that know him that I'm curious to see what they have to say. Because yeah, again, we can't judge her because we don't know where she's coming from. Again, there are a lot of things that are not going to be able to be shown in this movie. And maybe to her, like, it's harder for people to show Michael Jackson in this fantasy way when she knew the real him, which is so much more. So let's continue.
But I also don't feel like her reaction was valid towards Coleman Domingo, I'll say. Like, I feel like he was just, as a cast member, just thanking her. And regardless if she contributed a ton of stuff or barely anything, I think it kind of, I don't know, I feel like the anger was a little misdirected, I should say. It doesn't make me lose hope in the movie. I think I am just still kind of like on the fence of like, okay, how is this gonna go? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Like I said, I really don't think that I don't know Coleman Domingo either. But my assessment of this whole situation is that I don't think he meant it in any wrong way either. All right, let's get into this. Thank you so much for that voicemail. Here, let's get into the last one, and then we'll wrap it up and do our final thoughts.
Hi, this is Deborah. I feel that Paris Jackson is going through some self-awareness. And I think that what she should do is probably produce her own documentary on her father.
I agree. Deborah, that is a fascinating idea because I don't think we've ever had like a documentary of Michael from the family's perspective. I know that Taj Jackson is supposed to be doing a documentary. But like, wouldn't that be a treat to have Paris do a documentary? I mean, again, we have to also realize that it's going to take people time, decades probably, to tell their stories. Like I have done an interview recently with Elvis Presley fans, on the impact of the Elvis biopic on his legacy. Now, his legacy is he's a king of rock and roll. His legacy is a little bit different than Michael because Michael just passed away 15, 16 years ago. Elvis has passed away 40 years ago? No, almost 50 years ago, right? I don't know exactly how long, but I know they said he would have been 90. Anyway, there are books that just came out 10 years ago. There's a book that just came out 2 months ago. Like, it takes time to gather information. It takes time for people to get older, for people to collect their journals and their diaries and their times that they want to share with the public and to give people access and insight into that. Maybe the kids will produce their own documentary. Maybe Paris will do it. Maybe Prince will do it. Maybe BG will do it. We don't know. Maybe this will happen when I'm 80 years old and I'll have to come on here and do another video. But I say all that to say, yeah, like, it would be great to have various perspectives. And the biopic, yes, it's gonna be big. It's gonna be one of those things that people look to when they wanna learn more about who Michael Jackson was, but at the same time, it's only the beginning. The biopic is gonna be the jump starting point of a lot of people's fandom and interest in Michael, and so for that reason, I know that things will be dramatized to get across a certain narrative or a certain point, but I hope it's one that remembers Michael for a humanitarian as a humanitarian, excuse me, as a creative, as someone who broke barriers, as someone who triumphed over a lot of adversity, as someone who broke the mold, and just as someone who left his mark on this world of entertainment. Now, whether they get into how he was as a father or as a family man, brother, son, uncle, I don't know. And to be frank, I'm not going to know anything beyond what they tell me or what they show me. I don't know. But I hope to learn more from this movie than I came in knowing, even as a longtime Michael Jackson fan. And if I don't, I hope it's at least as enjoyable as MJ1 and MJ the Musical, because I didn't learn anything from those, but I sure did enjoy watching them, taking them in, and it was a joy being in a theater, enjoying and taking in Michael's music and his story around other people. So comment below, you guys. Let's keep the discussion going in the comments. Let me know what y'all thought about this video of voicemails, and if you want me to do another one like this when any other news comes out, I think this would be fun because I can't always do lives, but I can definitely do these voicemails. And I love this. It's like feels like so much more personal than just like me reading off you guys' comments, which you guys left a lot of comments as well. But leave some in this video so we can continue this discourse. If you are watching me for the first time, again, I'm MJ Fangirl. I don't know if even know if I introduced myself. I'm a Michael Jackson fan and I make content all about Michael Jackson. I'm a Michael Jackson historian, so I'm on my journey to learn more about him. So if you're interested in that, make sure that you subscribe to me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.